Scott, talk to us about how emotional this is for you. What's going through your mind right now in your heart?
Got my life back.
We got our life
We've
back.
got our life back after 4.5 years.
5.5.
Because of Mark.
Yep.
And being able to put the truth out of what happened. It's been an emotional roller coaster for so long. Endless nights, talking to Mark 1 in the morning, trying to understand and learn this whole case. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. But don't anybody ever forget this was a massacre on February 14th. The only person to blame was that monster. It wasn't any law enforcement. Nobody on that scene, from BSO, Coral Springs, everybody did the best they could. We did the best we could with the information we had, and God knows we wish we had more.
What do you say to the family, Scott? I know it's emotional for them today, too, but this obviously isn't the outcome they wanted. Do you have any response to
what I tell the families? I would love to talk to them. I have no problem calling Mark, saying, hey, we want to talk, we'd like to know everything. I'm there. I would have been there from day one. So I'll always be there. If they need to really know the truth of what occurred, and not only my actions, but what occurred, I'm there for them. Me and Lydia, we've mourned with them for 4.5 years. I've seen some of these family members, and I'd love to went over to them and hugged them and said, God, I'm sorry. But, I know that's maybe not what they're feeling at this point. Maybe now, maybe they'll get a little understanding, but I'll be there for them. I'll be there for them. How could I not?
What about the prosecution? What do you say to the prosecutors who brought this case?
I'll let Mark talk about that.
We are extremely pleased with the outcome today. But understand something, this is not just a victory for Scott. It's a victory for every law enforcement officer in this country who does the best they can every single day. How dare prosecutors try to second-guess the actions of honorable, decent police officers?
Lydia, do you have something to say?
Through this journey, Scott is my life, my heart, my soul, and people could never understand how he's doing it. And it's simple. The Lord is my rock and my strength. And faith, you walk by faith and you never, ever, ever give up.
It's extremely important to understand how we got here. Former Sheriff Scot Israel held a press conference without ever speaking to my client about what happened. From that, every one of us erroneously assumed that my client knew that kids were being killed in that building and he just didn't go in. Well, these jurors made it clear through their verdict that couldn't be further from the truth. He did everything he could, and as a result of Sheriff Scot Israel's reckless, selfish political actions, he had to endure 4 years. 4 years of heartache and misery. No one should ever have to go through that.
Scott, what's next for you? Going home to North Carolina, I imagine. What's next?
I'm first going to go. Everybody who's in Broward County and South Florida who supported me, I'm going to everyone's house. That for the last 4 years has been saying, Scott, hang in there. I'm giving everybody a hug, the biggest hug I can give. And then I'm going back home, going back to the mountains.
And then we're going to the Vatican.
Yeah.
Tonight we're celebrating.
Yep.
We're celebrating my house, not just the victory for Scott, but the victory for all law enforcement officers.
Amen.
And that the system worked. It took a while. It was rough. It was not easy. But eventually, these jurors got it right. And so the system works, and we should all feel good that if you're falsely accused, eventually, at least in this instance, they will get it right. They will make it right.
Thank you, George.
Mr. Peterson, you didn't take the stand, and I know from speaking to you and Mark over the last 5 years that had to absolutely burn you alive. How did you convince him to not put you up there?
To be honest with you,
Or how did he convince you?
It was just a lot of back and forth, and at the end of the day, you know, Mark's my lawyer, you know, and he knew what was best, and I was going to follow what Mark needed me to do.
When this case started, so that we're clear, he 100% wanted to take that stand. During this case, 100%. He needed to take that stand. That's what he was telling me. And I had to tell him no. They did not meet their burden, and they should never, ever look to him to prove the case. And I think that his words got out through the testimony. They knew his position. 2 days after this, he said, I didn't know where the shots were coming from. And they could never prove otherwise because he didn't.
Scott, there are school resource officers right now at a national convention convening. They're paying attention to your case. What would you say to those officers who may have been nervously waiting along with you on the outcome?
I think they probably had a very legitimate concern because of this case regarding the issue with the caregivers, but to all school resource officers out there, SROs, we're police officers, and we're there at that school because we want to make a difference. We always have. That's why I had been a school resource officer for 28 years. Because you do, not only you know that you're a law enforcement officer, but you're there to make a difference. So for all these SROs, not only in the state of Florida, but nationally, maybe they can breathe easier knowing, God forbid, if they ever went through something like this, that hopefully the justice system, you know, will prevail for them as well. But I would hope, I would never want any law enforcement officer in this country to go through the last 4.5 years of what I went through.
I think it's very important to focus on the prosecutor's office in this case. They had access to the same facts that these jurors did. Every single deposition that I attended, they attended. They knew the facts in this case, yet they persisted with this meritless prosecution. And so you got to ask yourselves, what's their motivation here? And if it's politics, which it clearly is, something needs to be done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you all. You guys have been great. Thank you. Thank you.
One more thing I wanted to ask you, and you don't have to answer it, you don't have to answer anything. But there have been a lot of comparisons drawn between you and Texas.
No.
Do you want to mention that?
No. Let me just say, those comparisons are completely unfair. Every fact pattern is different. In this case, and I can't speak for Texas, in this case, he 100% didn't know precisely where the shots were coming from. His facts were very different. Their radios worked. His didn't. Calls came directly to that agency, not his. You can't plausibly analogize his case to the others. I wish those officers the very best. This officer, completely different. Snow White innocent, and thankfully the jurors made that clear.
Thank you for understanding me.